times we haven't taken points this year. So yeah, for sure, the next game is absolutely crucial, and because we're getting to the crucial point of the season.
As well as physically, just recently, it's been an emotionally charged sort of atmosphere as well. Is that something you've had to take into account when looking at the players and dealing with the players?
Yeah, I think for everybody, because it's been a big push and on and off the pitch for the club, and sustaining that's it's not easy and not normal. I don't expect the fans to wave us off at Finch Farm every week. That's an absolute pleasure that they're adding to it in this moment. But for everybody, we're investing a lot to try and keep that momentum to the end of the season is a big deal. And I think maybe a little part of Watford was maybe a little bit of tiredness off the back of Leicester. The beauty was we could give the players a day off yesterday, not see each other, see their families, rest up. And we have a couple of games into Brentford, so hopefully we'll be fit and fresh for that.
Are you at that stage of the season where there's really nothing else to say to players and they know what you want and they know what's needed and you just have to get on with it?
Not quite. I understand what you mean. Like the message it can be a bit repetitive, but it's important to repeat because we all have to remember the situation, and we also have to remember that every opponent's different. They give you different problems come match day. So there's some basics that we need to keep the same, which I think at the minute is work ethic and the attitude of the whole squad. And there are some things that will change revolving in games, but it's important to have good communication. And at the minute, it's clear to see that everyone's fighting in the same direction.
When you look at the last 3 games, 7 points from 9, you've got to be happy, and I guess you'd be just as happy to see the same return in the next 3.
Absolutely. I mean, it's been a nice return considering the type of game. Big opponents going away from home, changing that story for us in this season. But again, we're not done. We're not over the line. So the minute you switch off or you stop doing the good things that you were doing, this game can punish you. So yeah, we have to make sure that we approach the games with the exact same attitude and try and pick up the results that we need.
Sunday, if results go the right way, you could be safe come Sunday evening. How much of a big thing would that be with regards to not just the obvious being safe, but being able to change your mentality and looking forward and planning what you want to do with this club?
Oh, yeah, it'd be great. They're all ifs and buts, aren't they, at the moment, so it's not easy to call that one. What we do know is that we're in the last throes of the season, and it will be our job first and foremost to get across the line to stay in this league. That's not for sure on Sunday, and it won't be for sure maybe on next Thursday. It's up to us to try and make it happen. And at that point, yeah, of course, between myself and between the club, we'll look to the future and try and see how we can improve ourselves. It's the main aim every summer that you go away, whether that's in recruitment or the work we've got, or myself and ourselves. All those things will be the conversations that they come after we hopefully stay in the league.
Are you already sort of looking at things though? I mean, you must be.
Yes. Yeah, of course.
Thinking about that.
Mm-hmm.
With just regards to team news, you mentioned something about Fabian Delph after Watford. What's the situation there?
Yeah, Fabian won't be fit for the game against Brentford. We'll see for the rest of the season. It's a small injury, a muscle injury, but it's an injury enough to keep him out of this game. Ben Godfrey's very close, whether he'll be fit for this squad or not, but he's possibly going to be in the squad. Trying to think who else is different. Donny van der Beek's getting closer. I'd like to think he might be involved on Sunday, if not on Thursday. Sorry, any more you want to ask me around, you can tell me. There's not much change other than that.
Me as well.
Yeah.
Just finally from me, Frank, we've seen the way the fans have reacted over the last few weeks, and there seems to be a little bond being created between yourself and the fans. Is that really helpful to you as manager? It's crucial, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it is. It's very helpful, and it's crucial if we're doing well, and that's the first thing the fans want to see. So they want to see the spirit in the team, and they want to see results. To be fair, they've been great with me personally as a support for myself since I've been at the club. Most importantly, they're supporting the team incredibly well. I can never take that for granted. They need to see the basics all the time. I'll keep working to try and keep that bond as strong, but it's certainly something that I would recognise coming in. That was something that I really wanted to make sure we were a collective and we were together. And at the moment we're doing, I think, a pretty good job, everybody at the club, of that. So let's continue in the same way.
Thanks, Alan. We'll go to Richard at Premier League Productions.
Frank, you talked about being impressed over the last 3 weeks, especially given what the away form's been like. Is that the most impressive thing in this period, that this team has been able to respond in the face of adversity and produce? Yeah,
I suppose so, because it's high pressure moments, and that's the time that you get tested the most individually and collectively, and the players have. It's been, my period of time at the club's gone very quickly for me, and at Goodison we've been very, very good generally. We've got a lot of good results. Away from home is something we've had to get our heads around and get better at, and recently we have. So we've got ourselves in a good position. But it's just it's so important now that we don't relax, that we keep pushing and get the results we need, and so we must just keep going.
Given goal difference taken into the equation, 4 points is probably going to be enough. 3 games to go. Would you like to get the job done with these 2 at Goodison?
Of course, if we can do, we'd love to get it done. That's the whole aim now of where we're at, and it has been the aim since I've been here. But we have to. Well, we're not underestimating Brentford. Fantastic team, fantastic coach, had a really good season. Coming to Goodison, then Crystal Palace, fantastic team, fantastic coach. It's the Premier League, so as much as we want it, we have to go and take it. Simple as that.
What are your thoughts on Brentford? Because the last time you saw them, you enjoyed a good win in the Cup, but obviously they've had a very good season themselves, ensuring survival long before the end of the season.
Yeah, just a really good team. Full credit to them. The way they play, they change style occasionally, and they give you different threats. They're a hard team to analyse because of the flexibility they have in the team, which shows that they've got a very good coach and they deserve their status. They've worked hard for it and on particularly good form in recent weeks. So, yeah, going to be a big challenge for us.
And just finally from me, can I get your thoughts on Jordan Pickford? Obviously England's first choice goalkeeper, but with that comes the scrutiny, the spotlight's heavily on him, and yet when it's mattered most, he's really produced, hasn't he?
Yeah, and he's produced since I've been at the club. He's a fantastic goalkeeper. He's shown that to me in training, in his personality, how he is, professional, and in games. And it's because he's made some big saves in some high-level games recently that people have sat up and took notice again, and rightly so. But he's been delivering that for me since I've been here. He's a top-class goalkeeper.
Thank you.
Thanks.
That's Richard. We'll go to Chris at Ready on Merseyside, please.
Hi, Frank.
Hi.
As Richard mentioned, Brentford were the first team actually faced as Everton boss in that cup game.
Mm.
Just wondering, just how important was that game for you in terms of giving you an indication of how important the fans are?
Yeah, it was a really big moment for me in my career, but particularly my managerial career, because you come to the club and you're never sure, you never take for granted receptions and support, and that was a special day in the first game. And the fans, to be fair, replicated that a lot at Goodison, but I certainly felt very happy with the welcome that I got at the club. So yeah, it feels like a long time ago now, and I think that the relations of that game to this game will be completely different for the spot that Brentford are in and where we're at now. But yeah, the feeling I got from that game was a great one, and that's why we want to finish the season well and give these fans what they deserve this year.
And you alluded to it there, Brentford, they've improved since that day as well. Christian Eriksen's been key. It's been some comeback. What have you made of it?
Yeah, great story for obvious reasons, which I think everyone in football is happy to see. And he's come back and shown his quality instantly for the club and real given him an uplift, and that's what quality players can do. So I don't know him particularly well as a lad, but fair play to him on so many levels, and he's a top-class player that will be a big threat.
And at a time when momentum is really important, and you've got momentum now, 7 points from the last 3 games, having so many games to play at the moment, has that helped you almost in terms of maybe not being on the training pitch as much and just getting through game after game and getting that momentum? Yeah,
possibly at this time. I always looked at it when our games were kept getting put back towards the end of the season. It was a double-edged sword. It's, you look at it and go, okay, there are games where we can get momentum, but at the same time the table starts to look a bit skewed because we're -2 games to everyone else around us. So that can affect confidence or feeling around the place when the table doesn't look quite right. So the good thing is we've picked points up recently at the right time to get ourselves the feeling of being out of the danger area as such, but we are still in the danger area. So it's important that we just focus on the games. 2 home games are good, and we're happy with that, of course, because that's where we do feel strong, but we absolutely respect the opponents in both games.
And just lastly from me, Frank, just on Dele Alli, he hasn't started a game for you yet, and he hasn't come off the bench in the last 2 games. Have you had a discussion with him about why he hasn't been able to get into the team, and any idea in terms of what his future is beyond the summer?
Yeah, I have had those discussions with him. He'll be very clear as to where I am, and at the moment I'm much more concerned about the collective getting over the line as a group. And if Dele plays his part in these 3 games, then great. And he steps up. He's come on at times and done good things for us. It's an area of the squad where we have other players that have been playing. That's just the reality of the situation. He needs to just keep training hard and stay really well focused and fight for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. Are there any further questions for the open section before we move on to the newspapers?
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks.